symphony of love, unbound. Here in the PNW, we go beyond the sound.
Welcome to Beyond the Sound, a podcast that focuses on music and arts in the Salvation Army here in the Northwest Division, serving Washington State, Northern Idaho, and Western Montana. I am your host, John Opina, Divisional Music and Gospel Arts Director, and I'm joined by
Keith Almanza, Assistant Director for the division.
And today we continue our episode 2 interview with our special guest, Summar Bussey. Christmas is always really busy in the Salvation Army. I think we have, as of December 11th, we've done 22 events.
22 to 24, I want to say, yeah.
22, and we have 15 more, I think, or 14 more.
To be fair, we did start October, I want to say 19th.
So it's a very busy time of year for us. But even in that, it's for a lot of people. It's a great time of year. So, if you want to, do you have any like Christmas or New Year's plans?
Yeah, so next week I'm heading home to New York, so I'll have hopefully a white Christmas, which is always fun. It'll be nice to be home with my family. It's just chilling at home is the plan. 2 years ago we went to South Africa, and that was really fun, but that's not something we can do every year. So it'll be nice to go home, go into the city, and just be home with my family.
Is your sister going to?
Yes, my sister will be
Awesome.
coming. My sister's boyfriend will be coming
What?
after Christmas, not during Christmas.
Speaking of which, when they went to Del Oro, were you able
yes.
to connect?
No, so unfortunately, yes, for those of you who don't know, my sister is in the Southern Territory, and she she works at a Corps in Greensboro, North Carolina, and the Carolinas division partnered with the Del Oro division, and my sister is able to travel with their divisional drama troupe, and actually perform a Jesus theater that we created together.
That's cool.
Yes, yeah, we put it together around last year around this time, so she was in Del Oro in Sacramento, but what happened was that
She
my
didn't end up
family
telling
from-
you though, right?
So so that's funny. So Daniel Prince mentioned to me, because we were at Saroa in Florida, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the Carolinas Division of Creative Arts is coming, to Del Oro," and I was like North Carolina, and he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "My sister's in North Carolina," and I texted her, and I'm like, "Sky, are you coming to like Sacramento?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You didn't think about telling me." I was like, that's fine. But what happened was that my family was visiting from South Africa that week, because they actually ended up being in the South for an event. But they were in New York, and so I had actually flown to New York to go and be with them and hang out with them, because we don't get to see them very often. And Sky couldn't make it because she was going to be in Sacramento. And then actually the day before I left, my cousin Mackenzie, who works for the New York Yankees, texted me and said,
Oh,
"Hey,
Dalrymple.
Yes, Mackenzie Dalrymple. He texted me saying, "Hey, can I stay at your apartment, because we have tickets to go to the World Series, and if you let me stay there, I'll give you a ticket to come with me on one of the days," which was on Friday, which would have been the day that I drove up to see my sister. So there wasn't enough time, and it's a long drive to do for it would have been like a 24-hour trip, because we had like trunk or treat that Sunday. So it was just
Plus, it's the World
unfortunate
Series.
timing. Yes, and like traffic, and I was like, ugh. To go watch the Yankees play in the World Series, it was a rough game to be at, but it was fun.
Okay, so you just kind of answered my next question. Were you rooting for the Yankees or the Dodgers?
So I felt like I won either way, to be honest. I was happy. But I'm a New Yorker. I gotta root for the Yankees. I've been to more Yankee games than I could think of, just because, they had Yankee tickets here and there. So I'm like, I gotta root for the Yankees. And I was sitting in the Yankee section, so like gotta root for the Yankees, but I was happy for Freddie and representing the Salvation Army, and I was happy that the Dodgers won,
Oh,
but
see,
I
you
was
don't care
holding
about
out
the
hope for the Yankees.
Dodgers. You're just happy for Freddie.
I
We can
look,
all salvationists all over the world. We can all just agree. We don't care about the Dodgers. We just like Freddie.
I feel like it was kind of a lose-lose, at least from my point of view, just because, growing up in San Diego, Padres fan.
I'm a Padres fan.
Never liked the Dodgers. And
Yeah.
and then I'm also, in my adult years, converted Red Sox fan. And we do not like the Yankees
no,
whatsoever.
not the Red Sox.
So, like,
Mhm.
it was a
Disappointing.
lose-lose scenario. Like, no matter which way, whoever ended up winning, it was not going to be a great feeling. So,
Well, the last time the Padres were in the World Series was against the Yankees.
yes,
and
so
they lost.
it was doubly
Yeah.
doubly
Like a
doubly
try-
bad.
yeah.
Doubly bad.
Yeah. Okay, New Year's. Are you gonna spend Times Square? Are you gonna join the craziness that is?
No. So like this is the thing, like growing up in New York, and I live like outside of the city, like 40 minutes outside of the city, not in upstate New York, because upstate New York is like upstate. Which y'all are both Easterners, so you understand. But
Yeah.
we've never gone into the city for New Year's Eve. It's like the worst day to go in. Me and my sister do have an agreement that the first New Year's that we're both married, we'll both go into the city together and do the ball drop.
Okay. Nice.
Now, like that depends on a lot of things, like working out for that to happen. So it may not happen.
Yeah.
But that's an agreement we talked about many years ago that she may have forgotten about at this point. But that's
Yeah.
my perspective. So
Is that with the husbands? Is that the intention? Because what if they were both like, yeah, you enjoy your time. We'll stay back.
we'll leave them behind. We don't need them.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Ideally, both of our husbands would be willing to,
Okay, what about you? What do you have planned for Christmas? and
Oh
New
man,
Year's?
I cannot wait to not set an alarm in the morning. That's probably the number one thing I'm looking forward to right now. Is just because with all these events that we're doing, they seem to be. Well, I tend to get up on the earlier side anyway, just to make sure my dog's taken care of and all that. But man, just waking up whenever, it sounds amazing right now.
I think not putting on those red sweaters.
Yes.
So we have, for all our events, we have like our uniform is black pants and those red Salvation Army Christmas sweaters that the San Francisco Croc Center came out with 2 years ago or something like that. So we've been kind of living in those for the last month and a half. So it's it'd be nice to not have to put that on or know where it's at and stuff like that. But I think for food wise, we didn't talk about food, but
Not at all. Not this entire podcast.
yeah, I think Kat, I think she wants a ham, like a Christmas ham. And then I think for New Year's, it's always been we'll kind of transition to favorite traditions. But for New Year's, in our family growing up, it's always been surf and turf. So like steak and then lobster, crab, shrimp. In fact, I think my wife has a very old video of me when I think she first met my family in San Diego, and we were living in Claremont, and I just had this huge plate of shrimp, lobster, and steak,
Now,
and rice, of course.
correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't she severely allergic to all shellfish?
She is, yeah. So we kind of stayed away. She stayed away from me.
It's gonna make that
kind of
tradition
like
pretty tough.
the rest of the evening. But yeah, okay. What do you have any favorite Christmas traditions or memories?
Memories and traditions. I feel like those are both. So we have a lot of Christmas Eve traditions. Obviously we always do candlelight service when there is one at the core. We actually like for a very long time have done charcuterie on Christmas Eve. Like, and it used to just be my dad would just like grab all of these random snack things and just like throw them on the table. And like 3 years ago, I started like just like behind him, like fixing things up and like putting them into things.
Sure.
And my dad was like, Summer, that looks super good. Like you need to do that more. So now it's kind of become my contribution. So we do that, and then we also do Bible verses for the upcoming year in our stockings, and we open up
that's
Christmas
cool.
stockings on Christmas Eve. So that's kind of like our thing, and then on Christmas Day we'll do my mom used to do Mickey Mouse pancakes, but then we got her a little Mickey Mouse waffle maker, so now we do waffles
That's cool.
for Christmas breakfast, and then we'll do lamb for dinner because African. You have lamb at every special event, and it's a great life to live.
Yeah.
My favorite Christmas memory. uh generally we would try to at least one point, sometimes on Christmas Eve, we would go into the city as like part of like we would go look at Rockefeller Center and we would go to Columbus Circle lights and everything. And my favorite memory is I can't even remember how old I was, maybe like 12 or 11. Like I was pretty young. And we went into the city and it was on Christmas Eve. We went in and we parked on a street. Like we just parked on a random street and we go and we look around and it's super, like the wind in the city is killer. It's like it hits you so it just like goes right through and chills your bones. And I remember like we were walking around and my dad always does this thing where he's like, oh, we have to go try out this restaurant and it's just a couple of blocks away, and it's more like 15 blocks. So we're like walking around all over the city, and I remember walking through Central Park and just feeling like my legs felt like ice cubes. And I remember we were all like, we want to go home, we want to go do stockings and whatever. So my dad's like, okay, we'll go back to the car. We start walking to get back to the car, and we cannot find where we parked.
Oh, no.
And we walked for like 20 minutes in the freezing cold, like just up and down streets to try and find this car. And eventually my mom was like, Steve, we need to call a taxi to like drive us around because like the girls are like so exhausted. So we got a taxi and the taxi drives us down one more street and it's right there.
Oh, that's hilarious. They'll probably charge you like $15.
Yeah. So that's probably one of my favorite memories. Yeah, and we love to watch Elf, mostly because the nun at the beginning of Elf who goes like, but the children love the books.
Yeah.
She looks just like my grandma. Like we have a recording of my grandmother saying like but the children love the books, because she looks just like her. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think for me, growing up was Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. We would do this big feeding in downtown San Diego, and I think they called it like the feeding of the 3,000, or I can't remember exactly what they called it, but I think it was at the convention center or civic center or something, and they would open the doors and just feed whoever. And I remember growing up, the San Diego Citadel Corps would provide a lot of music for that, and so we'd have to be there. My brother helped run sound, so we'd have to be there at like 5 a.m. So that was always a good memory. But I think one of my favorite things growing up was for the holidays, we just had a bunch of people at the house.
Mm.
I think that's kind of cultural, with being Filipino and just having just a ton of people at the house. I think my least favorite memory was they would invite my mom would invite families and with kids, and part of like Filipino culture is like everyone has to have something, right? So like everyone needs a gift. And I remember I was fairly young, I was like maybe 9, 10, or 11, and I remember they're going around and she's giving gifts to some of the kids at the Corps, and there ends up being like one kid who doesn't have anything. And we happen to be like the same age. So I know where all my gifts are. Like I know exactly what they look like. I know exactly like the name tag, the colors of the names, like the labels. And I remember her grabbing one of my toys or one of my gifts and just tearing off the name tag and giving it to this kid. I remember being so angry.
Did you at least get the name tag?
No.
Oh.
I just remember being so angry. But all that to say, I think that's been one of my favorite like memories growing up, is just having all those people just at our house, just having a good time, watching TV, sharing food. As we got a little bit older, playing PlayStation. I think just a fellowship and kind of being with friends and family, and that's always been one of my favorite traditions and memories.
For me, so it's kind of like my parents divorced around the time I was 6, I want to say. So all I ever really knew was like a split Christmas until I moved out to Boston, and then it was more or less on my own. But growing up, we would do when we're at Christmases at my mom's. We would always hang out with the extended family, and I don't know how this originated. It might have just been a, what do we do now? Hey, let's go see a movie. But that was more or less the tradition that we would have. Is you do the entirety of Christmas Day, you have the dinner. What do we do now? Let's go see a movie. So we just go to a movie theater. So I kind of kept that alive when I was in Boston because I'm by myself and movie theaters down the street, and well, I'll just go watch a movie. I might sneak into another one too because I've already paid for one ticket, but who knows? But as far as memory goes, I'm going to turn this into somewhat of a confessional. So this again is at my mom's, and so I have two brother and a sister on my mom's side, and they're twins and they're younger. And
I keep forgetting that they're twins.
they are, yeah, they don't look anything like each other, nor do they act like each other, but they're twins. But I remember this vividly, like it happened yesterday. There was a lot of presents under the tree. I think around this time was like Nintendo 64, the height of the Nintendo 64. And I thought I was a clever child. So I convinced my brother and my sister to go in on this scheme with me where we would just check out and see, hey, what presents are under the tree right now? So we just peel a little bit of the tape to look underneath the little flap and see what's in there. And I see my name. I look, see this present looks like a decent size. I pull the tape and open the tap, and I'm not pleased with what I see. I'm not excited whatsoever. And then I do another present. Still the same thing. Not happy at all.
Like socks.
I look at my brother's present. Like, this is what I wanted. Are you kidding me? It was like Star Fox maybe or James Bond, GoldenEye. And I was so dejected and so sad. And I think I wore that on my shoulders for whatever the week or two it was leading up to Christmas. And then it comes time to open up presents Christmas Day. And my mom goes, all right, Brian, your presents are for Keith. Keith, your presents are for Brianna. Brianna, your presents are for Brian. And we're all just like, oh no, she's on to us. So I don't think I ever told or admitted to this to her, but she knew. Clearly she knew. But Mom, if you're listening, you got me. You got me good.
That's funny. Okay, truth time. Christmas decorations. Summer, are yours up?
Yes, they've been up.
They've been up.
Yeah, they've been up since like after the 31st, but there was some issues with my tree getting
Of October or November?
The 1st of November.
Okay.
I like spooky season. Gotta enjoy spooky season, but Thanksgiving isn't a big holiday for me, so it's not like, oh, we gotta keep space for Thanksgiving. It's like it's a Christmas season.
Sure. Christmas decorations, Keith?
I don't have a one.
Me either. we have not decorated our house. I've just turned in all my master's coursework, and so that on top of kettles, we haven't had time to do anything. So
I think my Christmas sweater hanging in the closet is about as decorated as I've gotten so far.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so sad.
Although we've decorated our offices a little. That's not true. Our department has decorated.
They did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I feel bad.
All I did was hang up a couple lights differently. That's it.
I think I put a tree together.
That's something.
Okay, so your official job duties, they don't necessarily revolve around dance. They are youth
Or DJing.
Or DJ summertime. So let's talk about your actual job a little bit. And you guys have just finished an event. Even though it's not central to THQ, there is December 7th, I think, last Saturday, was like the Territorial, or was it the National All Fight Day?
I think it's national, but I think it depends on which territories are a part of it. So some territories don't really invest in it as much. I know Central is kind of like the head runner for it, but yes, Yeah, All Fight Day was last weekend.
Yeah, can you just explain to the listeners what that is? It's obviously not a day where, they're going around causing issues and fighting people.
So not the purge is what you're saying.
Not
Yes,
not the first.
yes. So All Fight Day is kind of and actually Abel Gomez, who's one of my coworkers, that's kind of his kind of thing that he works on, that and Bible Bowl, as well as all of our event planning. But basically All Fight Day is based off of the William Booth quote, what women weep as they do now, I'll fight. And et cetera, et cetera. That's a long quote, so I'm not going to quote all of it. But kind of just talking about the different ways that we can do low risk, high grace activities. And it kind of encourages our young people, whether that be core cadets, because doing All Fight Day kind of counts as, I want to say, a month of core cadet curriculum for December. So basically to kind of help core officers to not have to like do a month of core cadet curriculum. It may be a month or a week. You have to fact check or ask Abel or something. But basically getting our young people out there and just kind of doing service for other people. So our department a few weeks ago, actually, just to kind of promote it earlier, we participated in All Fight Day by serving, like basically washing up everybody's dishes, like taking the dishes out for each people in the lunchroom at THQ. And then we had some snacks for people as they were heading out. But just kind of things that don't require much, but really help extend the grace of God. So that's what All Fight Day is.
Yeah, that's cool. All Fight Day wasn't a thing when I was growing up, so I think it's good just to get kids and youth, because they don't really know about, or they may not know about all the social services that we do. We're a very social service heavy organization, and all of that happens outside of the purview of like the church, and so I think it's good for the young people to kind of be involved with some of the more service-oriented things that the Army is involved in. Yeah, so that's good. What do you like most in your position currently? Like, I know you've touched on kind of like the teaching aspect, but what makes you get up in the morning and say, man, I can't wait to get to the office today?
So as I kind of said, I really enjoy doing youth leader training. I really think that sometimes we throw people into leadership, especially youth leader, like it kind of becomes like this throwaway position where it's like, oh, anybody can be like a youth leader because kids are easy. And it's like, that's like our most vulnerable population. Like, and it's a really, really difficult population of people to like minister to. And if you do it wrong, it causes like a lot of problems. And I see a lot of the hurt that's been in the church and people that I've experienced from the church. And honestly, I think that it's from poor training of our youth leaders, right? And like of the interactions that we're having with our young people. So I really just love being able to equip people with that and really just like equip people with the concern for it, right? And being able to say like, hey, this isn't something that you should take lightly. Like when you're stepping into youth ministry, like you have to remember the Bible verse that says, for those of you that cause my young people to stumble, it would be better for you to have a large millstone tied around your neck and for you to be thrown into the depths of the sea. That was what my parents told me when I first started this job. So I was like, okay, thank you for that pressure.
No pressure.
But it's pressure that's needed, right? So I love doing that, and I'm a resource maker. I love being able to make resources and to just to equip people with things. I feel like my parents are they ran an innovation department for the Salvation Army. They're very creative people, and that definitely got inherited. I love just creating things for people because I know that that's not something that comes easily. So whether that be resources, at TYLC, we're actually going to be giving out a booklet that I made, and it's just youth ministry basics. It gives you some do's and don'ts of behavior management. It gives you some strategies to use with kids to help with behavior management. It has no prop games, and it's just like this little booklet that's like this big. And it goes over PTM refreshers, and it's just meant to be this quick and easy resource to reference if needed when working with kids. I love being able to create trainings, resources for for people that are in the field, right? So one of the things that we do is Emblem of the Month, and honestly, I'm just really grateful that Emblem of the Month has become really helpful for people. I'm grateful to have heard a lot of like positive feedback from the field about like this is super helpful, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm doing a good thing. So just I love making resources. It's one of my favorite things to do. So
That's awesome. So you've mentioned TYLC.
mhm.
So obviously that hasn't happened yet. So
Nope.
let's segue into what does the THQ department have in store for the territory in 2025?
Yeah, so TYLC, which is Territorial Youth Leader Conference, it's happening in January up in Mount Herman. So anybody who is a youth leader at their core, it doesn't have to be paid, it doesn't have to be a youth worker. Just somebody who's working with youth or wants to learn more about working with youth can come and attend, and it'll be at Mount Herman, which is like really nice. Like they have like a coffee shop on their camp, so like
That's
this
in the
is
Bay
not
Area,
like
right? That's up in Santa Cruz.
yeah, it's up in Santa Cruz. Yeah, so it's about an like maybe 40 minutes away from Camp Redwood Glen. So nice area. We have a lot of things in store. The theme is at the table. And it's basically meant to kind of talk about how tables are kind of central in, our culture and in our society, right? There's so many things that happen at the table, whether that be Thanksgiving or playing board games or tough conversations. I think about times that I received punishment sitting at the table, like being put in time out, like doing homework at the table, learning, Bible study, all of these different things happen at different tables in our life. So it's definitely it'll be a really interesting time. We're gonna have some really great speakers that are gonna come and share, and I'm just really excited. I'll be teaching 2 workshops on working with preschool children and then a troops 101. So it should be a lot of fun.
Nice. What else? So that's the beginning of January.
Yes.
What's do you guys do anything for the summer?
Yes, so we'll have Anthem, which is our young adult retreat, and that'll be happening first week of August, I believe. So it's like generally like right after WMI. So I get the lovely joy of
Back to back.
going from camp to camp, which is so much fun. But I love it. I'm so happy I get to go to both. We haven't decided on a theme yet for Anthem. That's something that we're still praying about right now, but we've definitely talked about it. Prepping for that will start soon.
So if you had to choose WMI or Anthem, what would you choose? You have to answer.
That's not an easy question.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. You don't have to answer.
I mean, like, there's lots of positives for each of them. I feel like my roles are
Implications.
very different in both of them. So I like the opportunities that come with both roles.
Yeah. I mean, they're two different. They're similar things, but they're two also very different.
Does Anthem get
Yeah.
in and out?
No, it's in Santa
No.
Cruz.
Well, then
But also,
you know
I'm
where my
not
vote
like,
stands.
look, In and Out is overrated. I'm sorry. Unpopular opinion.
Well, we want to thank Summer for joining us and never coming back. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a Salvation Army. This is a Christian podcast, and we would be remiss to not have anything, spiritual on the episode. So, Keith, you want to get the
So
first question?
yeah, I think recently I don't recall the series that THQ has started where this came into play, but you recently shared your favorite Bible verse as part of the social media presence, we'll say, for THQ West, which I think was James 1:2-3. The question really we have is if there is any specific verse that you're thinking of that really kind of comes to mind during this holiday season.
Yeah, I think James 1, 2, 3 is there's a lot of reasons why I like it. Mostly because like the 1, 2, 3 is really easy to remember.
Sure.
And I and I really feel like joy is a word that God has marked on my life. And I talk about it a little bit in the video as well, of just talking about how joy is beyond a feeling. And I think that when people see me, they think that I'm kind of like really hyper and probably think like would be like, oh, Summer's super happy all the time. And I have a lot of energy, but the feeling of happiness is not quite as easy for me. And it's definitely a challenge in my life constantly, right? To seek joy and choose joy. And then remembering like what joy actually is, right? And I always think about the Sunday school song Joy, Joy, surely this must be Jesus first, yourself last, and others in between. And it's really this great representation of what it means to seek joy is seeking Christ, right? Seeking Christ, and then from that love that He has given us to then be able to pour that love out onto others, and then really like I feel like pride is oftentimes like a big stopper in things, and we think of it as well, I just think that I'm so great, but it's like when you're the center of your mind and your own perception, like you're going to notice that you're a lot more negative. And so when you give and when you extend out into that way, you'll find that it becomes less about yourself. And I feel like that's really just been my challenge for myself recently. And that's why I feel like joy encompasses a lot of what I hope for in my spiritual walk is not just extending my life beyond the feeling of right now, but really seeking to put Christ first in my life and then put others next, right? And to extend the hand of kindness any chance that I can. Because when it becomes about other people, it becomes less focused on myself, which honestly ends up making you feel a lot better because, you know, thinking about yourself so much just weighs you down, to be honest. But yeah, I think during this season it's really just been about putting others first and putting Christ first and then others. And really I just started doing this where I have like a little tray of like Bible verses, and normally every morning I'll read a Bible verse and just kind of like read it to like start off my day right. But I watched a podcast with Sadie Robertson Huff, who is the Duck
Yeah.
Dynasty
Yeah.
daughter. And she was talking about like the value of doing devotions in the morning, which is really hard because I'm not a morning person. um, but of starting your day with God and meditating, like really meditating on verses that God gives us. So today was actually like, so I've been taking the Bible verse and keeping it with me all day, kind
Oh,
of
that's cool.
going back to it where I can. And so today's verse was Mark 9:23, which says everything is possible for one who believes. And I really feel like God has been challenging me a lot in my life, and pushing me. He's always pushed me outside of my comfort zone, which is really terrifying. But just trusting in Him and trusting that, even in when things feel impossible, even when I think God isn't a God that does miracles for me, that doesn't mean that He isn't, right? And it is possible. Maybe it won't be what happens, right? And that's where we do have to choose joy, because sometimes it doesn't happen the way that we want it to, but that doesn't mean He can't. He can, and He is a miracle worker, and He is a way maker, and He will do the things that He promises He will do. But we have to be considerate of the ways in which His promises are greater than what our prayers might be. Because we're imperfect people and our prayers will be imperfect unless because we don't know what's best for us sometimes, right? So in true submission to Christ and in really seeking Him first, that's what's going to transform your prayers. It's going to transform your perspectives. It's going to transform your emotions even. And you have to, even when all of those things seem short, to still choose joy, to still choose to see God's goodness through it all.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so we'd like to end the episode with just giving shout outs. They could be anyone in your division or in the Northwest or even just in the territory. Just giving a shout out of recognition to a youth or an adult who's just been pretty extraordinary. So, Summer, do you have anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of my girls in WMI and anybody who's just really taken the leap to try, being in the dance elective or the dance major, I really appreciate the people that give dance a chance, because it really is a beautiful form of worship. Yeah.
That was great. Keith, what about you?
I'm going to shout out your son, Paxton. So, obviously, your kids don't really have a choice when it comes to practice.
I didn't pay him to say that.
But as far as his desire to play the cornet, for example, he's practicing. Again, he probably has no choice. You probably tell him, hey, go practice. But he's still practicing. There's intentionality behind that. And then, recently I played some Christmas duets with him, and he was just gung-ho about it. Granted, I should probably pick stuff that doesn't have any F sharps in it, but he did a great job, and I think his spirit is there as far as willingness and just gung ho nature.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick a group as well. I'm gonna say our divisional hula team. They've just started very recently this year in September, and I think they have like 17, 18 girls now.
Wow.
And it's just been a good thing to see the growth in a short amount of time of that group. And really, it boils down to the leadership of Captain Jenny Onitsuka. So kind of like a dual shout out there of really encouraging those kids and encouraging the continuation of like that culture. Hula is very cultural thing, so I think it's important to keep it going, and that group again in a very short amount of time has grown quite a bit. They have their first performance coming in February with a United meeting, so I'm really excited to see what they can do. And just like with Army things, hula is very multi-generational. So we have older officers with younger kids, and there's even like kids of parents who have done hula when I was in Hawaii or with Captain Jenny as well. And so it's been cool to see the multi-generations kind of participating together, because I think that's one of the good things about the arts, but especially good things about church, right? These kind of activities are multiple generations of families can do together, and I think that's one of the more impactful things as a body of believers that we can be involved in, is just doing things as a family unit. So yeah.
Along that line, do you want to tease any upcoming venues that our department and our division will be doing?
Yeah, so we have a number of performances left for the Christmas season. This Friday, which is the 13th. Oh, it is my wife's birthday on that day, December 13th. We will be playing at the Seattle Temple, which it's the Church of the Latter-day Saints. And they do this big showcase every year, and we will be participating on Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. And then Saturday, we make our way to Leavenworth. Now, for those of you who've been to Leavenworth, it's pretty magical throughout the year. But if you've never been at Christmas time, it's like small Dutch feel, like origins of where Christmas started. It almost feels like, and it's supposed to snow this weekend, which adds to just like the magicalness of Christmas there, but it also adds to some scary driving conditions. So if you're going, please drive safe. So those are the two big ones for the public, and then the 23rd, we're headlining at a mall in Bellevue called the Crossroads. And then after that, it's the new year and other stuff. Am I missing?
Well, I think we have one more that you just got the confirmation on, I believe, for the radio station again.
Oh, yes. Next week, we're going to be back at Spirit 105. That radio station is part of Christa Ministries. And last year, we were able to have a radio spot, and Captain Steve Pavlakis kind of talked on the need for Christmas and fundraising for kettles, and we played for their staff. We did a radio spot, and then we actually went and played for lunch for their senior residents who live there. So Yeah, that's next Monday, the 16th. So, yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, busy season, but man, it's rewarding for sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, thank you, Summer. It's I hope you've enjoyed your time with us. We've enjoyed our time with you. Do you have anything to say, Keith?
I mean, I still can't get over the whole in and out thing, but maybe as
Sorry.
time goes on, I'll get
Look,
over it.
we're a fallen people.
I mean, first the Yankees, now this. I don't know what to
Look, I
think
can say
anymore.
the same about the Red Sox. I'm sorry. Who's the current world championships in terms of like the baseball? I'm pretty sure Yankees.
You're talking about this
Right?
century? Then we're gonna go to Sox, dude.
But they have the most, right? Yankees has the most world championship, right?
Yeah, but
He's saying he's not answering, which means I'm right.
Do you follow football at all?
I'm like, I kind of just pick one that I like each year during the Super Bowl, and I'm like, yeah, go them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's totally fine. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the work that you do, not only in the youth department, but in other ministry lanes as well with doing dance. I know working with you over the last year, especially at camp this past summer, has been a real treat for us. It's just been nice to get to know you and really kind of reconnect with you because, you know, as we said earlier, when I met you, you were a lot younger and we were in a different place. So to be able to work with you alongside with you now in ministry has been quite a privilege for me. So thank you for your time, and we hope you have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thanks, you guys too, and I'm really grateful that I get to just come on here and talk about, you know, the Lord and the ministry of dance. And I really hope that, you know, if you're listening to this and you've thought about doing dance, that you're like, maybe I should try it. I'm a fun person to hang out with during WMI. I promise that we won't do any like exercises that are gonna make your lips feel numb from like band, you know, like. I gotta admit, we got some snacks, we got some fun times, some dance parties in the dance major. we love the Lord, so.
and to reiterate,
Important
boys
things.
are welcome. Boys are
Yes.
welcome.
Yes.
Boys are welcome. We'd love to have you. It would be great to get you to come and lift some of our some of our girls, some more stunts. We always gotta throw in that because
Yeah.
I love stunts.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, and we will catch you next time.
Thank you, Summer.
Yep. Thanks so much. See you guys.
In the heart of the rain and evergreen trees, the mountains meet the sea, a place of peace. Melodies rising like the morning mist. We gather to learn, create, and exist. Beyond the sound, beyond the stage, we lift our voices, turn the page. A symphony of love, unbound. Here in the PNW, we go beyond the sound. From blast to brush, from strings to song, every hand and heart finds where they belong. In every note and color, every line and beat, we build a world where souls can meet. Beyond the sound, beyond the sound, beyond the stage, we lift our voices, we lift our voices, turn the page. A symphony of love, unbound. Here in the PNW, we go beyond the sound. From brass to brush, from strings to song, every hand and heart finds where they belong. In every note and color, every line and beat, we build a world where souls can meet. Beyond the sound, beyond the sound, beyond the stage, we lift our voices, we lift our voices, turn the page. A symphony of love, unbound. Here in the PNW, we go beyond the sound.